We are here with Matt Wilson, the CEO of Light and Wonder. Matt, thank you for taking the time in what I know is a very busy upcoming week to chat with us.
Yep, feels like an annual tradition. So it's that time of the year that we get together again and talk about all things gaming. So thanks for having us.
Of course, it is an annual tradition. I also have to complete the annual tradition of congratulating you on the job that Light and Wonder has done in getting all of the fundamentals in solid condition and the job that you and your team have done over there.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, this goes back to the board making some bold strategic decisions a number of years ago to sell some non-core assets, really use the money to repair the balance sheet, focus the business back around building a great culture, building great content, and then to the team showing up every day to bring it to life. So, yeah, we always say fortune favors the brave, and we've made some big, bold strategic decisions, and they're seeming to pan out for now anyway. So, yeah, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, that's great. Before we get into Light and Wonder specifically, let's chat, if you don't mind, a little bit about some big picture trends.
Sure.
One of the things that we keep hearing in these interviews is AI and the use of AI. Can you
Yes.
tell us how Light and Wonder is using AI currently and what you hope to achieve by using it?
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes you see a buzzword come out of the show and it's some new theme that some of them come and go. Skill-based gaming is a good example of that. You'd say maybe 8 or 9 years ago, that was a key theme at the show and has really kind of disappeared. We don't think AI is a buzzword. We think it's really a force multiplier. And if you haven't been paying attention to this, you've been living under a rock. It's disrupting industries far and wide, and the gaming industry is no different to that. I think the big area that we're focused on, we've got a great chief technology officer in Victor Blanco, who I think is the best technologist in the industry. He has a long history in lots of different segments, deploying technology in really creative ways. He was part of the team at Microsoft that created the Xbox. And so he's really been pouring his energy into thinking about how can AI really be leveraged for our organization. And the biggest area we're focused on at the moment is through agentic AI. So building agents that can really take kind of these lower value, high resource constrained parts of our development process and automate them in a way that just frees up the capacity for our development teams to focus on what they do best, which is innovate, build great franchises and IP, and really leverage AI in a way that makes those more menial tasks, important but menial tasks, automated, and just free up capacity for the teams to be thinking about the next wave of innovation, the next wave of great franchises. So making big investments in that space, and I think that's going to carry us through the next decade in terms of leveraging AI to be successful in the space.
Yeah, and on one hand, AI is great for casino customers in that you can really devise content that is tailored to specific appeals for players. On the other hand, there's the question about AI and responsible gaming and what's the potential of crossing that line into exploiting players. So, what should companies like Light and Wonder do to make sure those products strike the right balance?
Yeah, I think one of the big things we're doing is putting AI in the hands of operators through our Engage platform. So giving real-time access to data and information that operators can use to spot problem gaming on the gaming floor in real time and intervene where appropriate. So giving the access to data and tools that can help arm the front line to minimize the impact of problem gaming. So that's a big way that we're leveraging that and rolling tools out across our customer base to enable that, which I think is really important. And then I think, like I mentioned earlier, like AI is not this tool that's going to help us create a new way of developing games. It's really what our designers do is a creative force. They're creating animations, they're creating great graphics, great mathematics, and so really leveraging AI to take away the kind of the coding. A good example of how we're leveraging it is taking a game from the Class 3 casino market and then leveraging AI agents to help refactor those games for other end markets, whether you take that to VLT markets or the charitable space or internationally. So it's not really a way of driving the creative process. It's really about how do we more efficiency into how do we redeploy those games that our creatives make to other markets. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and those are some good points that you make. If you can look out, 6 months, a year, a couple years, what do you think the use of AI looks like in the gaming industry generally?
It's moving so fast. It's amazing to think what's just been achieved in the last 6 months. Victor is leading the charge for us here, and the application of these tools. The market probably wasn't ready for its adoption in the gaming space in the way that we're thinking about it today, but it's moving at such a parabolic increase that its ability to really change our lives is very profound. I think if you futurecast 5 years from now, I think I see a world where AI agents are doing all the meaningless tasks, or in our lives, just creating a lot of more efficiency and capacity. I kind of always go back to the fact that great content, whether it's great movies or great slot machines or great music, is really a human experience. The Beatles didn't need AI to create all those number one hits. Martin Scorsese didn't need AI to create those amazing movies that he's made. And I do think the creative process is inherently human. And so, it's really about how do we leverage AI to be more efficient. If you want to build top quality content in any facet or any industry, it's going to be great creative humans that are doing the work and really driving that process. But I think AI agents will take a lot of that efficiency that I mentioned earlier, and make them capable of generating more ideas more quickly. So that's how I think about it 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, AI is very smart, but there are some parts of the human experience that a machine can't replicate. So the
We're
creative
aligned there.
process is a good point.
Really agree.
So moving on a little bit from AI, and this is a Light & Wonder company question specifically. You mentioned Grover Gaming.
Yes.
How has the acquisition, the integration of Grover Gaming gone, and can
Yeah.
we expect to see a presence related to that acquisition on the G2E trade show floor?
Yeah, absolutely. Grover will be part of our G2E booth this year at the show. We're excited about that. It's going to show the power of them coming under our umbrella. I mean, charitable gaming is a space that's grown very quickly in the last decade, from a very small addressable market to something that's quite meaningful today. The Grover business for us, we've acquired 11,000 incremental gaming operations units into our fleet. It's a really interesting end customer that we're supporting here. These are veterans and like veterans halls, and it's their place of congregation where they meet and they have a community there. These games really are the economic backbone of these fraternal organizations, and so the games generate the income that they need to operate these facilities. So there's kind of a real meaningful reason for this segment to exist. We've been watching it very closely. We loved Grover, the values of that company, the culture that they have built. The team that's come across have quickly endeared themselves to us. They feel like they're part of our organization now, and we just feel like the combination of our great content, the mission that they're serving around the veterans and these fraternals, can generate some great outcomes. So yeah, excited for that to be part of our organization. We signed the deal in February. We closed the deal in May. In that time, a whole new market in Indiana has been regulated, so that goes live in the fourth quarter. So looking like a great piece of M&A we're able to achieve this year. So excited about what Grover brings to the organization.
Great. And Grover's just one piece of the puzzle over at Light & Wonder. What are some of the other must-see things that you're going to bring to G2E this year?
I think from a hardware perspective, we have a cabinet or a platform called Lightwave, which this is really the next frontier of how we develop gaming hardware. Gaming hardware has traditionally been 2 screens, a stepper handle, some reels spinning, with potentially some signage over the top, but that's never been integrated. Lightwave really, it's a full end-to-end platform where the hardware and the signage is integrated into one experience. So the game designer now can have a game interact with the device itself, but also interact with the signage. Given it's a Eilers-Fantini podcast, we've got a game called Frankenstein Returns coming to the show floor. So we're excited about that. It's the next generation of a very high performing product in the original Frankenstein game. So that one's a bit of a tip of the cap to Frank, the man himself. So looking forward to showcasing that at the show here next week, Frankenstein Returns.
And you have some other new hardware also being launched at the show, do you not?
We certainly do. Yeah, we have a cosmic dual screen. So that's a dual screen cabinet we'll take to global markets. We'll show that for the first time next week. We have a cabinet called Cosmic Sky, which is kind of an oversized gaming ops cabinets, a few other little things up our sleeve that we'll unveil next week. But yeah, really solid lineup of great hardware, which gives our designers just an amazing canvas to build the industry's leading game. So excited about all the things we can show next week.
Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to coming in and getting to demo those with our at booth demo series. So, um, just to wrap up a little bit, Matt, is there anything else that you would like to note folks to know as we head into G2E about Light and Wonder and what you're bringing to the show?
Yeah, I would just say more broadly from a corporate strategy perspective, we never stand still as an organization. We're always hungry for the next hill to climb. We're in the last throes of delivering on our long range guidance to the market, delivering on that $1.4 billion EBITDA target that we laid out back in 22. We had an investor day in New York in May, which we kind of reframed the next chapter of growth for the company. So that's exciting. We're going to deliver $2 billion of EBITDA, double our earnings per share by 2028. So that's exciting. And the team's really focused on how do we get, all the things lined up to go and deliver on that. And then finally, we're shifting our listing from being a dual listed company listed on the NASDAQ and the ASX. We're shifting our listing to Australia in totality. And really, I think one of the things that underlined that was, a lot of our gaming supplier peers that were listed on the public markets have now been taken private. Think about IGT and Every and AGS, and left us as really the lone major supplier on the US public market. So, finding a home in Australia seems to be a very logical thing for us to do, and so we're kind of in the process of that. But we'll still be a US domiciled company. 70% of our revenues comes out of the US. I'll still be here. The management team is still here. So from a day-to-day perspective, from our customers and employees, not a whole lot changes. Just the share register will change where it's located on the ASX later this year. So excited about that opportunity too.
And is that still slated to happen by the end of the year?
Yeah, we absolutely want a pathway for that happening in the fourth quarter. So excited to get that nailed down and move the listing.
Well, we're excited for you for that.
Yep.
Well, Matt, we've taken up enough of your time. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at G2E.
Yeah, thank you for your time. All the best to Frank, and we'll see you next week.